Hey there, you sexy beast. This is Ariel DeVito with Be More Than Fit Personal Training, bringing you your weekly health and fitness life hack. Fuel provides power to accelerate a vehicle the same way consistency provides power to accelerate our results. Just like a car can't get anywhere without fuel, our health and fitness can't improve without consistency. A vehicle will last forever if you use the right fuel and maintenance, and it's no different for our bodies. Today, I want you to give yourself credit for all of the right things you're already consistent with. Then, afterward, and only afterward, choose one place in your daily habits that could use an upgrade. Start believing in the power of consistency over time, and that it's possible for you too. You have to believe that no matter what your past experience has been with health and fitness goals, that you can have an upgrade in your own life, and it's available right now. For more tips or to speak with a trainer, contact us through our website at www.bemorethanfit.com or on our Facebook page, BMTF Studio. This is Ariel reminding you that you deserve the best quality of life available, and it's yours for the taking.
All right, everybody, welcome to this week's episode of the Killeleagh Show. I have a very special guest here this week, who's actually, formerly Finger Lakes native, Anthony DiDuro. We met years ago in Finger Lakes Young Professionals. I was thinking about that this morning. Like, I can't even imagine. I'm like, where is that organization now? Who knows, right? But I'm not as young as I was when we met there. So
well, neither of us,
right.
But...
Right. Maybe there is no Finger Lakes Young Professionals because it was us. Like we all ran that thing, and then that was the end of it. But anyways, welcome. Anthony,
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I love sharing stories of inspiration. I love sharing people who are living values-driven lives. And it's so fun periodically to have stories like yours where it's like, total transformation in terms of where you started in life, where you were even 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, and then where you are now. So one of the things I really want to touch on is, your journey from Anthony DiDuro working at Ventosa Vineyards, right? To like, now you're in the Air Force and life is very different. So like, let's just talk about some of the highlights of that journey over recent years.
Yeah. So like you said, we met in the Young Professionals quite a while ago in a different time and place. And I think both of our lives.
Feels like a different lifetime.
Oh my God, it's nuts. You see like the memories and stuff come up on your apps and whatnot. And it's just like, you'll see like a picture and you like visualize this place and it just feels like yesterday sometimes. But I've gone through so much transformation and just personally, professionally. Obviously, I'm in a whole different world now. And but I grew up in the Finger Lakes. I had the opportunity to work in the booming wine industry for a number of years. And at the time that we met, I was at Ventosa Vineyards. The opportunities that I had to kind of come up and learn the hospitality industry and the kind of event planning world and viticulture and all of those cool things. Professionally, I was able to soak in a lot of information, and some of the people I met then, point in case, I, still am in contact with, and it's just, it's crazy to see how much everyone's progressed and evolved, but yeah, that's where I got my start, bumped around and worked various, restaurants, casinos, nightclubs and whatnot. I actually moved from the Finger Lakes all the way down to South Beach in my 20s and back up, and really just kind of soaked in as much as I could. I had a lot of fun. I met a lot of really cool people, and you know, there was, there were pros and cons, obviously, to that lifestyle and whatnot. And I found myself kind of, I guess, spinning my wheels, and personally, professionally, spiritually, really just having a hard time, you know, getting to getting to that next point in life, really, and being able to, um, make things better for myself and continually grow. So I had some pretty big changes um, happen, and I decided that I wanted to kind of start over. Um, and Recovery is something that I'm super passionate about.
Mhm.
Um, I was very much kind of just, I guess, spiraling at one point, and getting into the nightlife a little bit too hard, and focusing on maybe the wrong things, who to impress and why and how, and making sure that I was always showing face at these events, and making sure that I was trying to do what I thought everyone else was doing and wanting to do, and that's how you move up, and this is how you network here and there. And it doesn't have to necessarily be that way, but it's what I knew for a long time. And in that business, sometimes it can be glamorized or encouraged, or it's just, if you're not careful, and some of us, um it's just, once you go down those roads, it's hard to change your life, and you become dependent on certain things, and certain things become so commonplace in your life. you know um Drinking, alcohol in general becomes so,
It's like a way of
uh
life.
yeah, it
Yeah.
really, your mood becomes dependent on it, and it's what most of your it's what a lot of your it's a lot of your relationships revolve around on, and that's just not the way that I wanted to live anymore. um so I came to a point where uh, I had been super inspired by some people that were open and honest and willing to talk about addiction or recovery in general. And I just, I never had wanted to acknowledge that there was, something that was um, kind of controlling my life the way that it had gotten to that point um, before. And then just everything kind of got, I was living in Rochester at the time, and um, I was just being very carefree with my life. Like, I just wasn't, I lost my motivation to, um, you know, go to focus on my passions, and to um, just really, my reputation wasn't as important to me. I was just, life for the party, and that was the only thing that mattered. So I hit a point, and I woke up one day, and physically I was just a mess from a few days worth of not taking care of my body. And I had a little bit of a scare, and I decided to go in, and I detoxed, and I went and to a wonderful rehabilitation center, and I started my path of sobriety, and that was almost 19 months ago. So um, it's just crazy how much clarity and how much focus and how much um, just you can see things that you don't see when your judgment's clouded. And I realized that what I had been doing for the last few years, really through my 20s, I'm 34 now, it just I wasn't satiating myself. I had lost my passion, and I was really just kind of trying to um, hit that reset, and sobriety gave that to me. And it was just also such a crazy time in the world with you know, everything happening with the pandemic and all of that. So I really had some serious self-reflection, and I decided, like, what is important to me? What do I want to focus on the next few years? What are my short-term and long-term goals? And um, you know, where am I going to be in an environment where I'm going to be able to soak in, um, you know, that type of energy, that type of drive from like-minded people. And I had always wanted to potentially join the military. My father, my grandpa, both my grandfathers, my great grandfather, you know, all served. And I think maybe in my 20s, I just, you know, maybe was a little bit rebellious, I guess. There was just a lot of stuff, that deep seated things that I hadn't dealt with from the past, that maybe, you know, in retrospect, like, there are things, you know, you want to acknowledge, um, like your demons. You want to acknowledge the things that, you know, hold you back, and to be able to kind of, you know, pull that back and get through a lot of that, and be able to talk to some people about things, and just really reflect on a lot of the viewpoints that I had, and the things that were, you know, just holding me back in a lot of ways. To be able to work through a lot of that in the last few years really opened me up to the idea of, you know what, maybe I should go and join the greatest military in the world and defend this country. It's something that I'm super passionate about, something that, you know, in these times, more than ever in my lifetime, you know, is something that, where somebody has to do that. And you know, I love that I'm a part of that now. So I decided to join. Did a little bit of research. I felt like the Air Force was something that I wanted to look into. Spoke with a few recruiters. You know, there are pros and cons to every branch, obviously, but I felt like the Air Force fit best for me. Just the quality of life they provide, and some of the opportunities professionally, some of the things that, you know, I was just curious about, or really kind of cool stuff. I mean, some of the technology we use is just so crazy, like, and I'm still learning a lot of it. But when I tested and came in and got through basic and everything, um, I joined the command and control, um, you know, branch side of things. I'm a command and control battle management operator. So basically, I'm involved with mission planning. To not get into it too much, but it's just, there are so many cool things that can come from this. You know, not only just the quality of life, but like the different opportunities educationally. I did go to school in my early 20s, didn't finish. I was actually a criminal justice major. My dad was a cop, and I wanted to be a detective when I was younger. But there's stuff like that I could do in here too, and like, just the people that I have met, even in my short time. I just went. So you can join the Air Force until you're 39. I'm 34, so, you know, I'm in basic training with some of these like 18-year-old, 19-year-old, you know, young adults, and it's crazy. Like, just, you know, the amount of life experience, and but like, we're all there starting at the same point. And there were some people on, you know, more towards my age too, but like, it's just such a mix, such a cool blend of just human beings that are all signing up, you know, to, you know, put their country, their families, their, you know, their rights to defend the Constitution, and go out and do what we need to do. And, you know, it was the best decision I've ever made, honestly. I take a lot of pride in the fact that you know, I now have so much, again, I'm so intellectually stimulated, like never before. I mean, there's a lot involved in like the service industry and working in the, you know, it's a science these days. I mean, you go to school for years for it. But I was just so burnt on it for the longest time, and to be able to find, you know, new life in this military journey now is just, it's a beautiful thing. So, and my family's been so supportive through it all. I definitely wouldn't have been here without my family and friends, and to be able to make that switch. I mean, it's tough. So a lot of people, as you know, when you make such a change like this, it doesn't always necessarily, it's not the right time in your life. You're not ready to make those changes. And it just so happened that everything was a perfect storm at the time, between the support of my family and friends, my personal drive to better my life, the opportunity to, jump on and be able to join the military in a time in this world where, a lot of people trying to start a new career, it's tough as it is, but just everything worked out, and it continues to work out, and it's not for lack of, hard work, consistency, a lot of just self-reflection, reminding myself of, why I started this journey, and why I continue to, want to be the best me for myself, for my nieces, for the people, in recovery that are looking for, I don't want to say it's, it's not a success story, but I'm getting towards, I'm hitting my goals,
Listen, every day that is a step away from the first time you made the decision to step into that realm, to go into recovery, is success, right? So yes, it is a success story. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's like we put this focus on the outcome, but it's a journey. It's the journey that's the success.
Absolutely.
So listen, I could go in so many different directions right now because I find your story to be so beautiful, Anthony. And by the way, I did notice you didn't miss the opportunity to support some Syracuse back there.
Yeah, we got a big game today.
But one of the things that really stands out to me, there's a few things that I want to talk about. So first of all, the reason why I get to do this show is similar to the result of, where you're at right now. It's, having woken up at a point in my life where I was like, what am I doing? Right. And realizing that a lot of the decisions I made, I either was deciding based on somebody else's idea of what I was supposed to be doing with my life, or just stumbling into little like twists and turns in the road until eventually like I just felt very lost, right? And so I walked away from this 10-year career in finance to work for myself, and then gave myself the room and the space to do things like this, right? Because I love to connect with people, I love to share stories, I love to just provide more positive energy out in the world, because we could turn on the news and see doom and gloom every single
Oh my God, I'm
right?
such an energy person, and I can't give you enough credit also. And I know, it's beautiful. Anytime that I see your stuff, I have to stop and appreciate, because like there isn't enough of it. There really isn't. And it does make a big difference. We're all so susceptible to each other's energies. Like,
Absolutely.
So.
Well, and that's why when we look at the time frame that you're talking about, right? Like this change for you, which was like really 19 months, right? The change over the last 2 years of decisions has been like an incredible journey. You and I reconnected, last spring. And the reason why is I was watching you show up every single day on social media, right? And you had something to say. Same thing, right? Like making sure that you were putting some good stuff out there into the world. And everyone in your network was responding, right? So again, value of consistency and showing up and just putting yourself out there. And that's powerful. And then going from there to, beginning to transition through like, okay, what is next? And I remember some really, really powerful and meaningful conversations. Like, when you have conversations, you can remember exactly where you were standing.
Yes.
So I remember I was like going up and down, doing laundry and checking the mail and like doing chores. And we were having this conversation where you were like fast forwarding, 10 years, and you were like, if I'm going to be with, the wife, for example, that I want to be with and have the children that I want to have, and I see this life that I have for myself, I need to like reverse engineer from here every decision that's going to get me there. Right. And it was so powerful because I think too often the story ends where ours began. The story ends with following what society told us we're supposed to do.
Right.
Right. And the thing that's really powerful, I think, about the decision that you made to go to the military is there's a lot of people who end up in the military because that's where they thought they were supposed to. You ended up there because it was an informed choice, right? It was like a committed choice. Like, this is what I want to do, which is a very different thing. And it really fills my heart to think, it's got to be so wild to be there with all these like, young kids, right? It's like part of it, I'm sure, like gives you that youth back again, but it also offers the opportunity for you to be a real mentor to people because you come out of that.
I mean, and the thing is, so working in the command center, there's a lot of leadership there, which is great because not only am I able to kind of network and show my initial value coming in out of training and being someone that can be a good example as far as jumping in, volunteering for everything, soaking up everything you can, asking questions, making sure that you're doing the things that need to be done without having to be just like the basic things that a lot of these guys, I mean, so in basic training, you start off in a flight and you're with the initial like 40 guys that you get off the plane there with. And, generally they'll go to someone that might have ROTC experience or someone that's a little bit older to kind of be like the chief of the flight. And I decided when I first went in, like, I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to soak it all in and I didn't want to worry about anybody else and all this stuff. But after the first week or so, the whole flight decided that they wanted to write like a petition and switch out the guy that they picked, and they wanted me to do it. And I'm like, oh, you guys, you better, I know it's tough because you want to take the experience and not worry about like, managing or anything like that. And that's kind of what I did in my service, in my hospitality career, is I did a lot of, people placing and managing and all that stuff. But we had a blast. And I think the fact that they saw that I wanted to kind of lead by example and be positive and try to be uplifting, because a lot of these things, I mean, you get off a plane and you're in there, and as much as things are different now than they were 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, as far as like the intensity and whatnot, it's still very intense, and they're still screaming in your face, and they're still making sure that they're kicking the door in at 4 a.m. to wake you up, and they're challenging you physically the entire time. And it can be a lot, I think, for a younger kid that has never lived away from home.
Right.
And there's a lot of, mental health is a lot more prominent and focused on now. So, there are certain things that are obviously a lot different, but some of these kids, some of these guys, these young men and these young ladies, it's such a crazy culture shock, and they want to do that. They want to test you mentally, and they want to make sure that you're going to be able to be down range with a rifle when the shit hits the fan. If that happens, we're still right there with everybody else, doing all of that. And it's a process, and there's a rhyme and a reason for all of that. But for me to be able to see and be in the trenches with them, in the beginning, and have a little bit of foresight and understand the process, I think was really comforting for some of them. And there's some really cool people that I met, and there are some people, a good amount of people my age too, that are looking for a restart, that are looking to provide for their families, whether it is a financial based or an education opportunity based, or because they are a new citizen of the country and they want to defend it. And they're happy to be an American citizen, a United States citizen. It's just, there's such a melting pot of people in the military, but yeah, that whole aspect of me being a little bit older, it definitely has been nothing but great so far, because even now, like at tech school, and we're studying, and the mental part is the focus, and we're just up all night just memorizing and studying and all this stuff. I have had plenty of experience, with that type of stuff, and I have my own little tactics and tricks that I can share, and now that I'm on base, to be able to embrace the feeling out process, and to hear, I'm sitting down with certain people, and obviously the expectation is gonna be a little higher of you. I'm like, oh, hey, that's fine. I'll take everything you got and more. Like, give me as many opportunities as I can have to, show my value to you, to, soak it in now. Like, the things that I'm learning, and I wish I could talk specifically about some of the stuff, but I really can't. And it's just mind blowing. Like, it's so cool to me. Like, it's so fascinating, some of the stuff that I'll be directly involved in, and potentially involved in down the road. And it's just like the travel opportunities, I can see the world in the next few years. Like, if I get stationed, my particular career field, so I'll be here for a year, and then after this year, I could go anywhere from Italy, Germany, Okinawa, Japan, which is like a gorgeous paradise of a place in the world, Hawaii, South Korea. There's all these places, and if I end up in a Germany or an Italy, I'm like a couple hours within Europe that I could just go around and like take weekends and travel. And I've never done that stuff. I've never taken it upon myself I was so focused on not the things that I'm focused on now.
Right.
But yeah, me being a little bit older has been nothing but positive so far. I wasn't sure at first. I got in really good shape. I'm probably in the best shape of my life since I've been sober, and even more so like leading into the military, just because I didn't want to falter in any way there.
Mhm.
Obviously the standards are, the same for me as they are for everybody else. And so that's been great. But like, yeah, being able to be a mentor, and that's a lot of recovery, as is sharing your experience and sharing your stories of, strength and hope, and being a firsthand account of what a serious change in mindset can do for your life. It's just nuts to think. I said before we came on, if you were to tell me 2 years ago that I'd be sitting talking to you now about being 19 months sober, having a completely new lease on life, and even just like the relationships that I've been able to not only like manifest and come into or I don't want to say repair. There's a lot of relationships that I've had from earlier in life that I guess maybe I'm in such a better place in now because of that. And really just there are unlimited amounts of things that started with that choice. So
Yeah. One choice, and then consistently applied every day over time. I love it. And it's applied to like all the things, right? Deciding on recovery, deciding to get in the best shape of your life, deciding to really do a lot of the mental gymnastics, if you will, to really build your mindset. I mean, it's really powerful. And I know we have to run, but I just want to say it's tremendous. It's amazing to watch your journey. I'm excited to see where it goes from here. And
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Likewise, you've always been a huge inspiration for me, and I appreciate so much the talks that you were referencing. Don't think for one second that you did not have an influence on my thought processes, and just some of the ways that you think and some of the ways that you communicate. I very much appreciate. So thank you for that.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure. So let's leave our listeners and our viewers with like one tip, some words of wisdom for the day.
One tip for the day. I would say don't put, if you want things to change in your life, if you want to cultivate real change in your life, don't wait. It's never going to be the perfect time to do this. It's never going to be the exact right time, mentally, spiritually, financially, whatever it may be that's holding you back from making that one decision that might change your life. Just do it. If you know and you feel that it's right in your heart and your soul, and if it's something that you think about often and you feel like it's really truly gonna, if you can embrace that, that change, I mean, life's too short.
Absolutely.
So,
Amen to that.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you,
Have
Melissa.
a beautiful rest of your day. I know you have to get to sleep because you're switching this week.
No,
so.
I got some stuff I'm gonna knock out. I'm gonna eat something yummy here in a little bit, and then I'll hit the hay here in a few hours. So,
Beautiful.
But such a pleasure as always.
Yes. You take care. We'll talk
Bye.
soon. All right. Bye.